First question, a lot of talk recently about the Raiders moving to Vegas. What does this mean for the NFL if it actually happens?
Well, I think the NFL is always looking to gain market share, and when you have enough teams in California, if you move out to Vegas and try to capture that Nevada market, I think that's what they're looking to do: expand and grow, find new market share, and it sounds like Vegas is more than willing to help out, build stadiums, do what NFL owners and players would like, and that's put forth money to help a team get in there. So I think from the NFL perspective, it's a no-brainer if everything goes through as expected.
Now, we see the Dallas Cowboys this year starting their two main players on offense are both rookies in Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. Do you think it would be smart of the Cowboys to start Tony Romo if he is healthy or continue going with Dak if he's winning?
Well, I think it's early to even decide it. I mean, Romo's still not even back practicing, and from my perspective, though, you ride the hot hand. I mean, I think that Prescott has shown that he can lead this team and they can win big ball games with him behind center. And so until he proves that he can't do it, I think that's a better move to put Romo in than to all of a sudden upset the chemistry that has been made and been forged through this first part of the season. And then if Romo doesn't play well or struggled, to try to go back to Prescott. If you look at what Tony Romo has done, he's only played in 4 of the last 20 games. Listen, football, NFL speed is tough to catch up to. And when you haven't played that many games in a row, it's going to take you time to get accustomed to it. And that doesn't matter, what your practice looks like, because you can't simulate game speed in practice. It just doesn't happen. And so I think from my perspective, unless you would need Romo to come in and kind of save the day because Prescott's struggling, I think you ride with it. But the other side of that is we're way early. I mean, Romo hasn't practiced. He hadn't come out. And I keep saying this and kind of beating the drum until he's even ready to push. He may walk out into practice and not play well, and they may know the answer. So I think we're ahead of the curve here a little bit. But right now, if I had to make a choice, I would say you'd ride with Prescott.
Now, one of the biggest things people focus on football is fantasy football, actually. How has the explosion of fantasy football over the last couple of years changed the almost everyday life of the actual NFL?
Well, I think people know more individual players because of fantasy football. I mean, people know who the third wide receiver is on teams now, or people know who the punt returner is going to be, or the special teams, how good they are. I mean, which was probably not the same before the development and the increased activity in fantasy football. I mean, it makes players much more well known, and I think it's great for the game. I love the entertainment value of it. It's fun for me to play with my sons. I have a 16-year-old and a 10-year-old that I love to, put a team together with those guys and compete against other dads and sons. And so it's a great way to kind of, tie in with other fans and with your family. And the other part is you get to watch a whole lot more games. I mean, you're not just focused on one in particular team. You'll bounce around and check out teams you may have never watched, and you may fall in love with a player that you would have never heard of otherwise. And so I think it's great for the expansion of people's knowledge of our sport, and it's done a great deal for the popularity of our game.
Now, you've played with two big name quarterbacks in your career, Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers. Which of these guys right now is a better actor? Because we see them in every single commercial, it seems like, on TV. Which one of these guys is the better actor?
Yeah, you got to go Manning, man. His are they're so funny, and he has done so many. It's just you just watch him, and I'm not sure what he's not a pitch man for these days. I mean, the guy's constantly in them. He has a ton of fun with him. He's self-effacing in him. Loves to be the center of attention in him, and I think he's done a fantastic job and has a lot of fun doing it.
Now, since this is going to be for college radio station, I'm going to ask you a question based around college. If you could give a piece of advice to any college players looking to make it into the NFL, or even high school players looking to make it into the NFL, what would be your main piece of advice for them?
Work ethic is going to be the key. Yeah, I think people think and they fall in love with talent and athleticism. And at the end of the day, in the NFL, you have to be a pro's pro to make it. You got to get up early. You got to study your craft. You got to make sure whatever thing you can work on to get better, you are. Intelligent football players last the longest, and there's by no question that's not even up for discussion or debate. So make sure you're studying and you stay on top of all of those, all the details, because the more you can do and balance in college, you'll be able to do the same when you move on to the next level, and you can make an easier transition. I've found that guys who struggle in school and college and don't want to put any time and effort in, they have a hard time with balancing a workload and having good time management. So from a player perspective, it's that work ethic and time management are going to be key to success at the next level if that's what you think you can do.
Would you consider the 2006 AFC Championship to be one of your most successful games that you've played in, with that key block towards the end of the game as well as the offensive lineman touchdown?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was not only was it probably one of the most productive, it was definitely the most fun. To come back and to beat your arch rivals in front of your home crowd, to put yourself in the Super Bowl. Moments don't get bigger than that, and it was so much fun to be a part of it and to watch the development of that football team and the way that we ended up winning the Super Bowl. To have to beat New England to do it, it could not be more poetic justice. It was just one of those things you felt like you had to do, and we absolutely love that, man. To come back and the like you said, the block that I put on Will Fork, it was just it's one of those things that rarely happens, and it happened in the biggest moment, and that just that puts so much more attention on it, and so you love it. And then from the offensive line, falling a fumble, man, get those tuds. That didn't happen from big guys very often. So that ball's still in the office today, man. I absolutely love it and look finally on it.
Now, we talked about this game, one of the best Manning versus Brady Colts-Patriots games that we saw over the entire time they've played. Will the NFL miss the Manning versus Brady rivalry this year?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think anytime you look at major rivals, no matter if he was in Indy or Denver, when you get two of the best who have ever played the sport together in competition, it's always fun to watch because you're going to get good offensive football on both sides. I would say they get too much credit for the wins and the losses, but it's just being quarterbacks, and that's kind of the nature of the beast. But I have had a ball being a part of them, and definitely our game misses those major matchups.
Absolutely. I mean, I know I miss watching it every year. One more question for you, Jeff. You've been working at ESPN for a couple years now. This two-part question. What has been your favorite part of working at ESPN, and who's the biggest personality? Who's the most fun person to work with?
Oh, man, I would say most fun is probably Herm Edwards, the biggest personality. He goes absolutely nuts, whether he's in the green room when we're prepping or on air. He has an absolute ball, man, and he's 60 years old or 60-plus, man, and you think he's 22. I mean, that guy goes, and he's a ton of fun to be around and work with. He's fun to laugh with and share stories. So he's probably the most energetic on air. And the funnest part about the whole gig, or the most fun about the gig, is just being around the game and a part of the game that you love. I grew up playing this thing and love being a part of it. And anytime you get the opportunity to speak on it or have conversation about it, it's like I'm at the water cooler, man. I just get to talk ball and have fun. So I really have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the people I've had an opportunity to meet and work with. And the fans that, text you, tweet you, whatever it is, and get in touch with you just about things that they like about you or even things they want to argue about. It's fun to hear other people's opinions and be able to battle it back and forth. So had a ton of fun so far and look forward to many more years here.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff, so much for sitting down and talking with me today. When can we find you next on ESPN with all this NFL talk?
I'm on today, and then I'll come back here in a week or so.
Beautiful. Awesome, Jeff. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your very busy day to talk to me.
Appreciate it, brother. Y'all be good, man.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.